KRMOS 5521. Today is 19 June 2021. We will try to have our movement today quite simple, quite clear. We will use the DBS approach as the database sigma, the result of the research or part of this activity as result. We had a lot of things, a lot of effort, independent by goodwill and free will, special concern with security. If you affect my private, for sure, you impacted this research. And then we will have on mind quite clear something like this. Let's suppose we will use today this model as the provider of any service. Consider a coalition, sometimes you send letters to people modifying things and saying that it will be like this, and you have something at the letter saying that you will open things at the postal system in the same way. All things abusive, but considering the circumstance Brazil and problems that you have as coalition, sometimes linked with the public corruption, sometimes being the public corruption as itself, sometimes creating a lot of embarrassing situation and barriers to force you get inside of systems to run your rights, your ambition, or something like this. We will have a review, and it will be something that we had during the activity, because it's closed, was something like this. I have my office as public office, and this office is linked with the top level as something that I'm not observing, and have the influence at this by the nepotism. This office is linked with special activities that is under the umbrella, I would say, of this guy or this group here. Can be, for instance, my police activity, my prosecutors, and my judges. Something like this fractal behavior, all with a kind of distortion inside by nepotism. And we have an integration as linkage, something like this, can set the up and down scheme of illicit gains and unfair losses for against business, company, and a lot of things. And you will observe that everybody here will need something quite simple, which is an office as attorney. And we will have in mind if this top level has distortion linked with office as attorney, using this scheme as the system of justice. This was under the research of the NATO. Then we will understand that the public corruption has a lot of pathways, but mostly all with failures, and those failures under, charges that are very significant to do our activity as research. We have this sigma as the cantoneira, I would say, plus lambda scam with factorial behavior. Storage of activity at the system of justice, considering the lambda scheme as integration of associations, giving the factorial behavior, which is the kind of ambition and petition that you have, and I am considering a member of the transnational organized crime. And you will face consequences as a member of the transnational organized crime, including inside the criminal organization, because sometimes you can't be protected forever. Then you will have in mind that on present time we have this model here, which is, let's suppose, coalition scams provided. We have this, and we will use the Unisys as legacy reading system, considering the events that you have, critical event, segmentation, lying to have the research. Research, you can use the full portfolio on IBM, for instance, with the DB2, the Watson, the Deep Blue, the Smart, but you can have the reading of all things by the legacy with the Unisys, which is a Unix system. But it's a choice up to you, provided, for instance, of the communication service. It's a contract that you can have. Maybe this contract can be arranged, they would say, for free, because maybe we will have a great result against the organized crime and transnational organized crime with serious consequences in the financial area, and the charge, it will be outstanding, for sure. Then we will have something like this. This is my, in general, array of activity, considering that can be corporate, can be public, can be corporate, can be public. This kind of association will give, for instance, equal side AB. It means a fair arena at the corporative area and the public area. For instance, if you have a trust, an antitrust petition on America against the provider of the communication associated with the public area, to both at the same arena, linked with, and they will be under the same situation. But sometimes you have this at agreements or arena-as negotiation transaction inside the interests of two both, and then you have observed that inside the, for instance, Brazilian environment, the public corruption will put for sure the company as provider of service as a minor interest and activity, because they can work by lawfare, do the financial choke, or apply a lot of penalty and unfair procedure against the company will be minor. The company inside the global environment can put this public corruption down, but them as minus B. In general, this matrix will give me the N as the letter, which is the provider of activity, but they can consider that all these integrated as a level of association, which is named coalition. And this coalition, in the same way, can be something for loss, for gains, and for losses. Just like at the system of justice, the identity as functional behavior second degree can give me the complementarity by association, at least as risk, possibility, risk analysis, evidenced and proven. 239 Procedural Law Brazil, considering the need mandatory as habeas data. We have for sure the risk as modified data at public department, considering coalitions linked with interests as have any kind of advantage by any way. Based on this kind of coalition, in general, this is not a compensation, but this is a fraud. It's different when you are independent. You have no linkage with anyone, and you are quiet at your silent room doing your research, and you have systematic aggressions against you. And in a very specific moment, these people trust so much at this crap corruption scam that will impact, for instance, the NATO as interest and purpose, and the NATO will have this research. Then we will have the N. We will have the N association with an index. This index is the N divided by the N quotient minus, I would say something like this. This situation as the N divided by N quotient. And then we observe that in both cases you have losses. You could get at the model, which will be the functional behavior presented as the array or arrangement at this matrix as composition. In general, the N as purpose activity inside my company will be something like this. Considering this area, I can have this kind of activity with a minor possibility to have even as coalition. Considering the public corruption, the corruption inside my company associated both, to have a petition, have an offensive behavior or a violation against a group of consumers that will claim their rights. Sometimes they are not linked with, sometimes they are linked with, and they will use the public corruption and attorneys linked with. Sometimes this is so much structured and happen in so many areas. For instance, can happen at the transport, the public service transport, when you overtake the companies that are having or providing the transportation of people, and they will have, or you can have this, for instance, at the logistics, especially when you consider that you can put away an international agreement by your own desire, considering that maybe the interest at your office as a judge, but you have an office as attorney, or you act by your wife, and then you claim you honesty and dignity, but the circumstance, especially by inference, according with your procedural law, do not point like this. You are under flagrant delict, maybe you're under international criminal investigation. Then you will have this situation here, and if you are a mafia member, you are fucking. So you will have something like this. This scam is so much structured that you have something immediately. For instance, if you do the financial choke plus the charge of the consumers, sometimes linked with, and they have an internal petition at the labor system as corrosive element against you, you have no choice. You just will simple and merely close your activity and go away. We have capital assets escaping from Brazil by this kind of conjuncture. This is a fact. You can change. Even God can change a fact. Though, we will have something like this. This situation will happen in a very specific moment with a thing very simple, which is the violation. For instance, when you change my contract without authorization at the provider of something, this interval from the change up to the complaint of the consumer, the user, however, or even at the petition against whom will be used as the interval of trust. I'd say it's that situation on stats, the hypothesis test. We have this area here, which is my activity providing the service, and I have the complaint at this moment. This complaint will have the violation was at this moment. The complaint will be at this moment. This interval here I can be used to audit. For instance, I can do this inside one specific company, considering the array of customers having the complaint, or doing this as the company and I will have the company N1 up to the number of players Z, I would say, at this conjunctural system. And then here I will have the situation as possibility to audit. If it's having something, I would say, plus 1, 1 inner value, 1, 1, it's outline, it's okay. All other things on the review. The first internal review, considering the company in each one, and I can have the cross data. For instance, if I put this at a matrix, I will have the N up to NZ, and I will have as criteria the positive 1. I will check. Then I will have the second criteria, because maybe I will have the negative 1. I will put this inside this second matrix here, which is inside this matrix, and up to NZ. Here is the positive 1, inner value negative 1. It means that this matrix as company has a corrosive element, which is proven the corruption. Now I will do this as N, comma here, or quoting mark, which is the public department. I will check the public department 1, 1, corrosive element negative 1, and then I will check this. I could get the coalition. And they are international criminals. They will be at that boat. Have a nice weekend. Have a great work.